Hey, welcome to the Crippled Handyman. Um, I just talk about whatever I want to talk about for the day in the moment. Mm. Hey, quick question. Um, what'd you guys pay for gas out by you? I'm in Colorado. I'm up in the mountains, a small mountain town called Woodland Park. And March 7th, I paid $2.79 a gallon. Um, Today is March 11th. It is 43 degrees outside. Um, Mostly cloudy right now, but yeah. I noticed the other day, Sunday, um, it went up to 289. I'd like to hear leaving a comment what your guess is. Like I said, today's March 11th, and I talk about credit card debt. How do you get out of credit card debt? It's a common thing throughout the country. We're what, trillions of dollars in credit card debt? That's pretty. I was part of that club. Um, Past tense was, and how do we do it? How do we get out? Um, the buy now, pay laters. That's that could be a very vicious thing if you're not very good with using credit cards. And I do. I will take advantage of zero interest. Um, Obviously, that was before I have a partial emergency fund being built. It's not where I want it. I like to have a year of emergency fund for myself and my wife, so we don't never have to worry about anything for a whole year. And but man, this credit card debt issue, this is such a big deal. And I guess I'll share with you how I do it. If you're credit card responsible, um, you know, there's nothing wrong using a credit card. I know, like for myself, I guess because of the fact you've seen people in gas stations or whatever, even on the outside, they put those another like chip reader deal on it, and that scares me to use my debit card on that. And I have too much money in the bank. That's why I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to go through all the hassle with the money in my checking account and stealing information from there from that debit card and just wiping that account thing. Maybe I shouldn't leave as much money in there, but I would just, it's called cushion. And then typically don't have to move money from savings into that. It just, because we used to do that and it just got old after a while and we just try to keep it a little bit healthier. But we use a credit card, same bank, but we use their credit card for gas. Um, I don't like using credit cards at restaurants. If I'm buying food for a huge crowd and family gathering, and you got a $500,000 bill, I'll use a credit card. But versus my debit card, or I prefer to use cash. Cash is my true outlet. Um, but man, how to get out of credit card debt? It's a process. I'm going to talk about my wife's our experience, what we went through um, before she started her new career path, which was in the beginning of 23, May of 23. Prior to that, it's just in the healthcare how they our pay has was dropped significantly. Not only due to the hospital did not want the um, the nurses and the techs. You worked in a cardiac cath lab. Sorry, honey, I'm going to talk about you a little bit on this, but not too much detail. But then, if they didn't have any heart cases for the day, they would send everybody home, which was bullshit. Um, I think that's wrong. I don't think they should have done that. It's like they're there busting their ass sometimes till 1 in the morning because they're super, super busy, on their days she's on call. And then the next day it's like, oh, we don't have any cases, well, we don't want to pay them too much money. So just greed from the CEOs, the people at the top. And she's not there no more, but she's somewhere else in a better place and making more money with less hours, which is a good thing. But the whole point, I don't even know how I got to that, but the whole point of that is our income dropped about $25,000 a year, and we had some credit card debt, and that extra money was not there to help pay off the debt, and bills keep coming in. I wouldn't say we were never outside our means, but things just happen and they gain, and then all of a sudden something happens with the motor, or your vehicle needs to be fixed, which is always. Um, so you have a $1,500 car repair, you throw that on a credit card, you want to pay it off the following month, and my income is limited from Social Security, and so I can only do so much of that. Always try to think outside the box, bring a couple bucks in doing something, or I try to be just very money savvy, watching grocery bills and paying attention to the gas, how much, heating your house and turning lights off, and the most obvious. Um, well, we had last year, January of 23, we had a budget meeting. I recommend families, even individuals, whatever, sit down and do a budget meeting. Sit down and see your income coming in and your and the bills that go out. Um, it's just how this credit card debt caught up to us. It just blew my mind. How I mean, well, obviously, when you don't know of extra spending and so forth, when you're not really keeping track of food costs, when you're spending $1,500, $1,600 a month on food, grocery bills, and that's food, toiletries, and everything. That's still a lot of money for those people too. Um, so I guess I'll just round up a simple number, because there's other debt that was included that we were lent money interest free from family that we're paying back. Last payment April 15th. But say, if I want to ballpark it, say it was like $15,000 in credit card debt. And yeah, that hit you in the gut real fast. For me, yeah, we're able to pay the bills and all that stuff. 22, October of 22, like the end of the year, we the garage was filled just with all my tools and all that stuff. I couldn't get my truck in the garage, and with my back issues and that, it snows up here. When it snows, it could snow 2 feet overnight, and we want to make sure we got my truck in the garage. So I use my handy dandy Home Depot card, and the nice thing about Home Depot is they have zero interest up to like whatever the amount is, $600. If you spend, that's like 6 months, or no, $299 or something like that. $299 to 605. I somewhere around there. Don't quote me to it. It's like 6 months, and then say if it was a $699 to 1,000. Maybe I'm saying I'm probably I got it all wrong. I know I got it wrong. If you have a Home Depot card, and they always have these zero interest, and I love using someone else's money for free. I could get it now, buy now, pay it later. My entire life, I've done this. My entire life, ever since I was able to do it. Pardon me. Ever since I was able to do this, I did it, and so we had to get a shed built. Um, and I built it for cost. I'm like, okay, well, I have to make sure if you go over $2,000, that's 24 months, zero interest. I think the bill came out to like $2,200, $2,300. for the credit card. And I took advantage of that. I used it, and all I did was divide that by 24 months. And that was actually, I went 22 months. And I divided that, and that was my monthly payment because zero interest, free money. If you're good with credit cards, buy now, pay later with zero interest. I'm saying now, if you have interest on the card, don't do that. That's a big no-no. So we had that. We had that big bill. It was like $2,400. But there was still another payment. There was something else on there that had like 6 months left at zero interest. That might have had like another $500. So I think the card was almost at $2,800, $3,000. But I had to focus on that first part of it and then kick it in the butt on the second. So I guess my payments ended up being like $200 a month just to make sure I had to pay it off. And so I did that. And then this $15,000, we had all these other cards. How it happened, it just freaking it snowballed in the worst direction. And I know I go to my wife and I'm brainstorming. This is January 1st, 2nd on 2023, and I said we got to get it. I go, let's see if we can find a credit card with zero interest that has maybe 2 years, 15 months minimum. So we're not paying any interest, but we got to make those payments to pay it off. And so we found a card, my Bank of America, 10K limit. It would be 10K of you could get in big trouble with that sucker. And we put $9,200 on it, cleaned off all the cards that had some debt, and stopped using those. You try. And this is when things were, you gotta remember, January 1st, she was still up to the job, getting gypped of paychecks. The one paycheck didn't even cover mortgage. We had money, just kept not that much money, very minimal. Um, it was kind of a very stressful time, but we used that. So we got if you want to help yourself, try to get out of this credit card debt. And sometimes interest could destroy you. Even though the interest rates on my two cards, it's the same bank, but to get the max money, we got two cards. She was primary on one, I'm primary on the other. A lot of yada yada. And um, so we have a max on those. Those are like 3,500 limit on those two. So that's another 7,000. They weren't maxed out, but we moved those to this. I can't remember what other card. Can't remember what other debt we had that went to that. I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank. I really am. Because all I know is added up to $9,200 whatever we moved over there. And so I wiped out those three cards to zero. We didn't. We're not. What we're saving is we're saving the interest. And this is how to get out of credit card debt if you're in a major situation, but you have to do the work on this. So we had figured out the payment plan. The payment was $600 a month to pay this off. What we were paying to the other cards, we never did minimums. Like we're probably doing 200, 300, 400. So if we were doing I think it was like $900 between the three cards a month. And then by doing this, it dropped it down to $600. And the bonus was zero interest for 21 months. We found this card. And my wife's like, do you think they'll look at it? We're just like, holy shit. Then when they gave us the limit of what we needed to cover those three cards, it was like, holy shit. For us, I look at it, was meant to be. And this is about being strict. Strict, being, I guess that would be the right word, being strict with your spending habits. We made a vow that we're getting out of this credit card debt. We're gonna bust our butt and make this happen. And then another little gig came up, making some money. Um, she has a business, and we end up taking advantage of an opportunity. and brought in some very good money. It actually allowed us to do some projects around the property. And as we're going away at it all year in 2023, paying down this card, paying down Home Depot, 2 credit cards with zero interest, and 200 on the one, 600 on the other, and we're just cranking it down every month, 800 bucks, 800 bucks, getting these cards down and trying to get. Um, at the time, it was $15,000 of debt. I cannot remember what other card. I know we cut up some cards and we kept some cards. I know Dave Ramsey and all those guys. They're like, oh, I keep like you don't need a credit card. I'm not using my debit card for shit. I'm sorry, I won't do it. I am disciplined, and we got in this situation because salary went down. It wasn't even a salary, or they just telling people to go home, and it ended up hurting us. My wife was working her tail off, and like 2 years in a row, she was bringing in about 25,000 less per year. And thank God for school and her getting this new gig salary. That when that paycheck comes through, it's that same paycheck every year. That paycheck covers mortgage, and then we have all this extra, on one check, even though she gets paid biweekly. But so that's one route on on what to do, on how to get out of credit card debt. And then another way is that like they talk about the snowball effect. Say you have 3 credit cards, and they actually don't even talk about really paying off the highest interest. They talk about paying off the lowest balance. I guess that makes sense to a point. But in order to save yourself some money, if you're able to find a card, cut up those other cards at a zero interest, kind of save you that interest money. But you have to stick to it. You cannot, if you're not a credit card person, nothing will work for you if you're not a credit card person. And of course, if you're like down on your luck and just struggling with paying bills in general, and you're using a credit card to pay a bill, well, there's another change has to happen. But to get these credit cards paid off, that's what we end up doing. This other gig that we had to bring in more income allowed us. So basically, it would have been October of this year of 24. Bank of America needed to be paid off, and I want to give a shout out to um, Caleb Hammer from Financial Audit. Um, he was the one that pushed me to we still had a balance, even though it was zero interest. We did very well on this one project, and I mean, busted butt for it. But we're like, okay, we got the money for it. The balance was like $4,200. We had the money. It just once you have money in the bank, like where you're feeling good and like, oh my God, this feels great. And I just said, screw it, we're gonna pay that card off. $4,200, boom, gone. Bank of America got paid off in February. Boom. How many months is that prior? Was he March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October? 8 months sooner ish. And because we were planning on having it paid off in September, a month before the due date, because we don't want to get screwed over with interest if something happened. So that was great. And then when I still had about $1,200 on the Home Depot card, so we got Home Depot. Boom, we just paid that 1,400 bucks in February as well, and that was owed on the same month of this year of 24. So we knew that all of 23 and 24 were just grinding it down, and life happens, things happens. We had to put a new motor in her car last year, and up with everything, all the extra stuff we had to do, ended up being $11,000 putting the new motor, water pump. I think she needed brakes. We had to do all this stuff. It was either doing that or buying another vehicle. And then it's like, Well, what if that motor takes a shit? You know what I mean? The transmission in this car was just rebuilt. Guy did a fantastic job. Forget his business name up in Denver. I wish I could. I'm just grateful. The transmission's been great ever since. And I'm like, well, let's just do a motor. I think that's where we're at right now. That makes the most sense. Is just to replace the motor, and that's what we did. And so that $11,000. Um, if it wasn't for my family, my mom, my sister lent us money. My sister blessed us with the other half. Um, $5 grand, $5,200 each. And then we just had to come up with the difference. We didn't have the cash, so we put it on the credit card. That's how the credit card started rising. And uh, my mom, she gets her order $2,600 April 15th. She could actually, unfortunately, I post dated the check. She could have cashed. She could have. I guess I could have wrote her a full check of $5,200. We had the money. Um, Due to like busting butt, getting another little gig, and just like making just trying to survive. You know, we weren't at a point where we were worried about losing it. It wasn't nothing like that. We could go out, we could do stuff. It was just that debt is hanging over our heads, and we didn't want it. It just didn't want it, and I'm glad we did what we did. So that is like, um, and then I have another credit card. Uh, this Quicksilver has a $700 limit. That was like kind of a credit card I had for a while that I just will never raise. They gave me another card. I'm like, I asked for a limit. I did something. I'm like, oh shit, I know. I applied for another card. They gave me like a $5,000 limit. I actually cut that up, shredded it. No more. No bueno. Um, and then we have these two. These are through our bank, Electoral Federal Credit Union. We got two of these, and we use the one card that she's primary, and I'm like secondary user, and that stays in the envelope in the safe. So that card and the actual bank debit card, those are the only two things that are in our wallets. Other credit cards I have, they're more like store stuff. Like there's a furniture store, American Furniture, a Jared card, an Express, and a Dick's. Haven't used any of those in years. They just collect dust. They keep updating the new card to us. And I had a Kohl's card because I didn't use it. They canceled it. They closed it out. I'm like, fine. Had a small limit. And a discount tire. Discount tire, maybe. The cool thing about that, we just spent $1,275 new tires on my wife's car. The last tires, oh my God, we bought a tire that was a 60,000 mile warranty. It went 66,000 miles. Rotate your tires every 5,000 miles, people. It helps, makes a big old difference. So we just bought the tires and I put it on this card. 0 interest for 9 months. We're doing $150 a month and is what it is. Can I pay that card off today? Absolutely, I can. Do I want to? Don't have to. You know why? I'm going to use someone's free money to pay this off. Caleb Hammer, you did the same thing with your furniture. Remember when you're on the money guy and they're like, oh, you can pay it off, Caleb. You're like, I know, but I don't have to. I doubt you paid it off. You're like me, but whose pockets are deeper? I don't know. That'd be something like you and I. If you ever put me on your show, I'll tell you how deep my pockets are. But so we got that discount tire card, and we have a whole little bin of cards and so forth. And we don't keep. Uh, it's. I'm looking at the. I think this card. Yeah, that's not my wallet. That goes back in the. That goes back in the safe. So I keep all my credit cards in the safe. I don't have it in my wallet, even though the wallet looks thick with a bunch of stuff. It's got only a debit card and one credit card in there. That's it. Got my HSA card, my health card to pay my medicine, insurance cards, driver's license, concealed carry, um, park pass, but only one credit card and one debit card. That's it. So doing your snowball effect, um, if you've heard of that, I've heard of that from the Ramsey and Caleb Hammer. And like I said, Caleb Hammer, he's the one that really pushed me to do it. Um, he didn't like we didn't talk on the phone or anything like that, but just from watching his videos and seeing his techniques, I know the Ramsey show. They have an outline, and people call in and they give a scenario and they talk about it. I mean, it works. It's great. It's the same kind of, but Caleb gets really detailed down to the dime. Like as far as it's, I don't know, because I've been watching Caleb Hammer for just over a year. I heard of him, and obviously when you're upside down in debt, but we got rid of over $15,000 in debt. And well, we got rid of it um, 13 months by doing that. 200 on the 1/6, and then I just said, "F it, we'll just get rid of it." I don't think we did it before Christmas. I have to double check. I could be wrong. But the snowball effect, how that works is, say you have three credit cards, and say you have 1,000 on one, 2,000 on another one, and $3,000 balance on the other one. Well, you work on the $1,000 balance first, pay just the minimums on the other ones, and then you add that extra money to the lowest one. And when that's paid off, and then you can add some more money to the next one. And then after that one's gone, more money to the next one. And say, if you add that together, that's $6,000. Um, it's crazy how money. Like I said, I've been through this with life. In 21, I was on top. You know, um, having money in the bank, stupid money in the bank, and we know that money was to put a down payment on this house and money for renovation updates, so forth, like new appliances, updating the floors and all that, door, all that kind of stuff. But you never expect life to, um, well, I guess I expect it. We expect it all the time. We're just, what it is? We're just fed up with it, and we're going to fight harder so it doesn't happen anymore to us. We're just gonna keep it. We're gonna keep hitting it hard, paying attention to that. But this credit card debt, what this country has, please don't use credit cards. And the biggest problem is when people are going to the gas station. They want to buy a coffee. They want to do this, do that. You start out adding all these non-needed purchases, and you'd be surprised how much money that is a month. And if you have credit card debt, I guarantee a lot of you probably have anywhere from minimum of 300 of BS purchases to probably $900. So if you have those BS purchases, say it was 600, okay, we'll go in the middle. That $1,000 deal, you could pay that off in 2 months. The 2,000, you could pay that off in 3 months because the 6 and 6, that's 1,200. That 1,000, that 200 rolls over, and then that 1,800 plus that 200, that's at 3 months. And then, so that's 2 months, that's 3 months, that's you're 5 months in the game of being like cracking down. And then for the $3,000 one, that's 5 more months. So you could get out of all that debt in 9 months, less than a year, and then start saving getting your emergency fund put away. Start doing that. Um, yeah, this is such a huge topic for people. Everyone's trying to, they get themselves in a unfortunate jam, and it's not always done on purpose. It catches up to you. That's what happened. It just caught up to us. I'm like, you're looking at all the balances of like, oh hell, why are we using that card? That card wasn't well. something happened here, and then the auto repairs and stuff like that. It was just, I still don't know how to happen. I don't know. I I have no idea. Um, so since it's two of us, you know, there's two of us that got it there somehow, and it's just more of us putting the work in and finding an extra gig, trying to make an extra. If you can make an extra $500 a month, I know that doesn't seem like a lot. Maybe shoot for more, $1,000 a month, just to get out of this situation. A buddy of mine, they're kind of him and his wife are in a little situation right now, and you know, trying to figure out how to make money, and he's he could do the construction world, very skilled, and someone is doing a bathroom, and they were quoted. The bathroom's already gutted, and someone was quoted, and they already wasted the money to somebody to do what they did, and then someone came in and quoted $27,000. And it's a small little bathroom. It's not even that big of a bathroom. And so he's going to do a little side gig and make 7,500 cash, which is a fair assessment. And I think it was like, even if there's not, even if there's, I think it was like five, six, 7,000, say $7,000 in material. That's 14.5. That's $13,000 in savings for the homeowner, um, which is pretty kick ass. But this credit card debt, man, everyone that's out there and you're struggling and you're trying to find a way out, how to get out of it. And how I always done it my whole life, it's always, you're always looking for something else to pick up, to take care of this debt. And we don't have any car payments. Um, I think I was including the vehicle with that 15,000 because we did pay that off too early. So I got rid of everything. My truck was paid for, paid cash, $3,900. Yeah, put a new motor in it, another eight. New new brakes, new tires, new stuff. I think I got 15, 16 into it, but it's all paid for. No car payment. If you could get through life without a car payment, if you have a car that you're just driving around just to show off or, try to be cool. I don't know. I don't know if everyone does that still today. But buy yourself a used car, and even if it needs a repair, it sucks. It just really sucks. And another thing I want to just talk about is these quick, fast, get rich quick scams that go on out there. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. I don't care what YouTuber out there, what person out there in the world says there's a quick get rich quick scheme. It doesn't exist. Unless you're going to sell drugs or rob a bank. That's how you get rich quick. And either both of those, you end up in prison for felonies. Yeah, bad, really bad. So that doesn't exist. If you're out there searching, like you're down on your butt, and stay away from those payday loans to help get yourself out of the situation. We did some research with that Bank of America. There was like 5 or 6 different cards, and that one seemed to be the best. It had 21 months of zero interest. So all the interest deal cards we threw on there, and we paid that bad boy off 8 months in advance. I want to say we did it last year. Time flies. Time just goes by so fast. We might have. No, maybe it was January. Maybe I did do it in January. Yes, I did because that was when I was first saw Caleb Hart, Caleb Hammer from Financial Audit, and just watching him the way he does it, and having people move money. It's like, you got the money, just pay it off, even though it was zero interest. Saving that $800 a month, which this is what's crazy. The money that we could save now every month because we don't have any debt. Oh, tires, $150. Big deal. I'm going to milk that one. I don't care. Um, but I only use a credit card for gasoline. And what's a really good feeling is when that bill comes in every month, which is online. I look at I have an automatic withdraw $200 every month to that for gas. And then there's other odds and ends that we buy, like we normally don't do. But if we do, Sometimes we'll buy flowers at an occasion or something, and order it online. When you're doing online ordering, like this microphone, this was a Amazon deal. It was like $65, $70, and bought a stand. There was some other thing that I put on a credit card, because of course you have to. And then when out once before the month cycles, the full cycle, it's pretty much because I get a notice that I paid the $200. Then I'll go online, see the remaining balance. Then I'll go in there and pay it off. I think the last month was like $1,000. But that's a great feeling when you can pay your credit card off every month. I'm not one for flyer miles or shit like that. Points. People want that money back. I get cash rewards. Well, that's Capital One. I know. I used to use that all the time. But I don't want to say, here's the part that you're fooling yourself with. You're spending more money because of the fact you're like, oh, I'm going to get some money back. Well, in reality, you probably spent, I guarantee, if you go down the list, the statement, add up all the purchases that were wanted and not needs. If it wasn't a need, add it to your bottom line, and um, I bet you're spending a few hundred extra bucks. And he's like, "Ooh, I got $150 cash reward," but you spent $500 to get 150, so actually you lost $350. That's the problem with those cash rewards is people are spending more money, and I know that for a fact because yeah, when you have it, when you're not paying attention, I really started cracking down on all this stuff January of 23. It was, we're not like big spenders in general, but we do buy stuff, but we're not big spenders. And when I say big spender, I'm not buying a pair of shoes every freaking month. I bought a pair of kick-ass bison leather cowboy boots. Wanted a pair. I've been wanting a pair for probably 3 years now, and I'm just roughing it out, not buying them because $230, $250, whatever. And I decided to splurge because of over the summer, we busted our ass, made some money, extra money to get out of debt, to have some extra. And I'm like, you know what? It was a reward. We all deserve to treat ourselves, but treating yourself like constantly, you know, you're going to get yourself in credit card debt. The over $1 trillion of credit card debt says it all. But be strict with your spending. Keep track of everything. Don't use your credit card. I mean, we use our debit card when we buy groceries. We don't use a credit card. We use our debit card. Um, I would recommend using your debit card more than your credit card and only buy what you need. If you're in a pinch, now we're kind of loosening up. We're going to do vacations once or twice a year. And, we're able to save up for that and pay for the vacation beforehand, like our airline tickets to go to New York. Um, they're like $1,300. I think it was like 12. It was right at 1,300, 13 something. All I remember is like, okay, 3 payments of 450 before we go to New York. Our airline tickets are paid for, and they're fully refundable if something happens. The hotel, we'll have the money in the bank for the hotel. It's like an apartment. New York's expensive. Holy shit, that's gonna run us a big old dollar. But the plan, we're gonna pay it off. Save up for your vacations too, and then pay it off. Pay it right. Pay as you go. That would be the smart thing to do. Pay as you go. Um, Trip is going to be about, I'm guesstimating 10 grand. So that trip will be paid for. Um, and then this house, roof overhead, 9 years. We'll have this house paid off uh, in 12 years from purchase date. It was a 30-year loan, 12 years. We have a 3.125 interest rate. Um, yeah, why pay that off early? We're going to save about $160,000 of interest. That $160,000 is going to go in my pocket. It's going to stay there, not to the bank. So look out, bank. You don't even know yet. You don't even know I'm going to be giving you some lump sums coming soon. And life happens, unfortunately. Things change, and, but hopefully everything goes great and things work out um, for us. And I just want to be open to you all out there. As far as like what I'm doing, it's easy to say when these people are already millionaires and are talking about stuff, and yeah, they can talk about how they got there. Are they telling you everything? Are they being 100% honest? You know, are they literally telling you everything? Um, but oh my God, my wife's, her new job, being salary and all that, the new career, it's steady, steady paycheck. It's the same paycheck over and over. October they get raises, and I hope it's the max amount. I think she deserves it. Um, and then yeah, that'll start going into the 401k. We actually held off from January and for 2 years we held off on investing money, um, just to get all this debt gone and to get us on our feet. And then we're going to start hitting it hard in 25. We're going to hit it like hard, you know, so we can make sure we got millions in the bank or in investments or whatever we could get to. We're starting late, 55, and we're going to be tripling down in the next, be like for around 10 years, 10, no, 15 years. She's 61, no, 51, 52, 52, 52. And so she'll probably work till 70. So she's got 18 years on her belt. We'll have this mortgage paid in 9. That's 9 years of just like stupid savings. And yeah, we're prepared if something happened and with the vehicles or something weird happens, we got to go buy one. Do I have 35 grand to put down on one right now? I'm not comfortable to do that yet. At the end of the year, that's doable, but we want a vacation. We want the balance. We want everything. We want both sides. Pay off our house and vacation. So vacation every single year goes somewhere. You know, we got ourselves to a point. We busted our ass for a year, and because of that side gig, that got us to such a great place, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Um, which is just freaking awesome. This is a pretty long video. I don't know if everyone's gonna. If you stay tuned all the way to the end, I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the new subscribers out there. Um, and yeah, as I'm going to be putting out content like this, I'm playing around, and this is a whole new type of video type deals I'm doing. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and hope can help me get there, guys. I really appreciate that. But on that note, I'm gonna leave it as that. And thanks for joining me. I hope I was, kind of crossed enough bases on how to get out of this debt. You may have to kick up a little side gig. I don't care if it's a little part-time job, making some minimum wage, which is still decent out here. You get $20 an hour minimum wage. I mean, shit, you could make an extra $500 a week. It's 2,000 a month. And if you have to do that, say for 6 months to a year, crack down. That's what we did. We didn't go anywhere last year. We stayed home, and that's how we did it. We did it ourselves. We were proof in the pudding, and it wasn't just paying off $3,000. We paid off $15,000. Actually, it was more than that because if I count paying my the family, it was over $20,000 that we paid off in um, just over a year's time. So, because there are still your regular bills and everything else, but we're in a good place. We're on a good ratio. I mean, think about our mortgage is only 21% of our net income. Net 21%. That's pretty good. So we're definitely able to do that 50. We're blowing away that 50, 30, 20. We're doing pretty good now. So grind it, do what you can, leave a comment, I would love to hear what you're going through, and I would highly recommend watching Caleb Hammer, financial audit, other YouTuber. I'll leave him in the description, his information, but watch his channel, and maybe not every circumstance relates to you, but it will really get you on the right path of life, to get yourself out of debt. Um, doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter, especially when you're my age and you get in that situation. It sucks. I got buddies that are doing very well, and I'm catch up, but they didn't get divorced. So I guess that has something to do with it too. You have all these curveballs in life. But other than that, folks, thanks for watching. And this is Eddie with a Crippled Handyman. Have a good day.